Hello, I am Alexander Fimbo, President of the Book Publishers Association of Alberta. Welcome to the 2021 Alberta Book Publishing Awards, where we recognise and celebrate the excellent work of Alberta book publishers. I would first like to acknowledge that we're filming here today on the traditional lands of the many diverse First Nations, Métis and Inuit people, whose elders walked these lands for many, many years before us, and with whom we share these lands with today. It is our commitment to all First Nations, Métis and Inuit people to continue to build stronger relationships with all communities, and we will use our resources within the Alberta publishing industry to keep moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation. The pandemic forced us to change the way we work. Sure, we've all complained of Zoom fatigue, but in reality, the virtual nature of our working environment brought us closer together as a community. Alberta publishers survived, and as this year's nominees demonstrate, no matter where or how we worked, we continued to publish stellar books. Our awards ceremony this year is being filmed in two perfect locations, the Calgary Central Library and the Stanley Milner branch of the Edmonton Public Library. Thank you both for sharing your beautiful spaces with us. I would also like to thank Alberta's Ministry of Culture and the Status of Women for their support during this challenging year. Your additional investment and the speed of that investment made a huge difference to the success of the publishing industry. Thank you. And now please join me in welcoming back Judy Piercy as the host for the awards segment of our show. Judy is the former MD of CBC Edmonton, an award-winning journalist and now a full-time fiction and non-fiction author. Welcome back, Judy. We've missed you.
Thank you, Alexander. It's wonderful to be here at the downtown Stanley Milner Library, new and improved. I love emceeing this awards ceremony, and the main reason for that is the relationships that Alexander just referred to. You have a true community here, and I'm very proud of the part that I play in helping you to celebrate your stunning achievements. This year we have 2 new categories for a total of 13 awards that recognize the top publishers in Alberta across various genres, including excellence in editorial and design. And we'll present 2 awards for special achievement in publishing. Alexander mentioned the resilience of this industry. Well, how's this for resilience? 109 award submissions in a year when the world was tipped on its head. We'd like to thank all of the nominees for bringing their hard work and talent to showcase the best of Alberta book publishing.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to bring you greetings as Minister of Culture for Alberta at today's virtual Alberta Book Publishers Awards. First of all, I want to acknowledge that Alberta is a province shared with Treaty 6, 7, and 8 territory, and this land is also a land of deep importance to our Métis people. And quite frankly, it's a global community with many others having come here from countries and cultures all around the world. Each of us with our backgrounds and our histories and each of our cultures helps to weave the tapestry of Alberta's story, captured not only in pictures, but in words. Writing as an art uses wise and beautiful words to inspire, to teach, to move our hearts. These words, stories, books really, are part of Alberta's intricate and yet diverse cultural tapestry. But words are meaningless until they are shared and heard. The local resident book publishing industry is essential to telling Alberta's unique and singular story. As writers and publishers, you make sure these words end up on the printed page or on the screen to reach readers here at home and around the world. The work that you do helps to articulate our unique identity and story to a growing local and international audience. Through you, we can share our history, the geography that brings us from prairie plains to Rocky Mountain highs, the resources that have fueled our economy and our lives, but even more importantly, you share our hopes and our aspirations for the future. When we come together and read or hear a story, we feel our togetherness and our community, and we share that with the rest of Canada and the world. And through sharing our story, you not only enrich Alberta's culture, but you also help to diversify our economy by creating valuable jobs. My wish for all of you in that regard is that you may prosper in your endeavors and sell to the world. I'm deeply grateful for the talented writers and publishers, editors, illustrators, all of you really, that contribute to produce excellent literary works, especially throughout this past challenging year that we have had. I want to invite you to a still greater service to our province through encouragement, by nurturing healing and telling stories of hope and resilience. These are the true longings that I hear from people. So best of luck to the nominees, although in my book, you're all winners.
And now, to kick off this year's awards, please welcome Doug Hildebrand of University of Alberta Press to present the Learning Book of the Year Award.
The Learning Book of the Year Award goes to a book or instruction package for the K-12, post-secondary, or professional market that has a specific learning, instructional, or professional development focus. The nominees are Athabasca University Press, 25 Years of Ed Tech by Martin Weller. Brush Education, The Educational Assistance Guide to Supporting Inclusion in a Diverse Society by Carol Massing, Bonnie Anderson, and Carol Anderson. Brush Education, Gross Morphology of Common Diseases by Dr. Tsu Hua Gao. Brush Education, Rapid Response Guide to Opioid Emergencies by Greg Clarks. The jurors were impressed by the quality of all the titles entered into the learning category. They noted that Brush Education, in particular, should be applauded for the relevance of their books, and especially their title, Rapid Response Guide to Opioid Emergencies. They said, to have an Alberta publisher release such a timely title is phenomenal. But the winner stood out for both its timeliness and its relevance as we enter a new post-pandemic world of learning. The jury considered the incredible amount of work ahead for educators as they and their students embark on full-time classes. An already tough job will be even tougher, and the need for accessible and comprehensive resources will be greater than ever before. The winner is Brush Education for the Educational Assistance Guide to Supporting Inclusion in a Diverse Society by Carol Massing, Bonnie Anderson, and Carol Anderson. Congratulations. Accepting the award is Glenn Rollins, President of Brush Education.
On behalf of the authors and the whole team at Brush Education, thank you very much. This book does foundational work on recognizing and respecting all forms of diversity and promoting equity and inclusion in our society. Brush is proud to have worked on this project with such a dedicated and caring team of professionals. And we hope that their work has impact in schools and communities across Canada and beyond. Our congratulations and thanks for their wonderful work to the authors, Carol Massing, Bonnie Anderson, and Carol Anderson, and to the editor, Kay Rollins, and to the cover and interior designer, Carol Dragich. Thanks also to Laurie Seidlitz and Tom Lohr at Brush for their care of and attention to this project. Congratulations also to Athabasca University Press for their very fine shortlisted title, and to the authors and the publishing teams for the other shortlisted Brush titles. Last, our thanks to the BPAA and to the jurors for recognizing the excellence of this book.
Next, the Trade Nonfiction Book of the Year Award, presented by Megan Hall from Athabasca University Press.
The Trade Nonfiction Book of the Year Award is presented to a book of nonfiction published primarily for the trade or bookstore market. A special thank you goes to Houghton Boston Printers for sponsoring this category. The nominees are University of Alberta Press, an autobiography of the autobiography of reading by Dion Brand. New West Press, Taken by the Muse by Anne Wheeler. Esha Books, Mother Earth Plants for Health and Beauty by Carrie Armstrong. The jurors described the winner of the trade nonfiction category as a special book, beautifully packaged. They said the publisher's focus on design ensured the quality of the book and emphasized the importance of its content. The winner is University of Alberta Press's title, An Autobiography of the Autobiography of Reading by Dion Brand. Congratulations. Accepting the award is Doug Hildebrand, Director and Publisher of University of Alberta Press.
What an honor. Thank you. An autobiography of the autobiography of reading has its roots in a lecture delivered by the amazing Dion Brand at the University of Alberta in April 2019 as part of the Kreisel Lecture Series organized by the Canadian Literature Centre. The CLC is our co-publisher on this project, and I want to thank and extend congratulations to the whole team there, especially Director Sarah Croach and past Director Marie Carrière. Thank you as well to copy editor and proofreader Joanne Muzak and to designer Alan Brownoff. I accept this award on behalf of the whole press team: Matt Bunton, Michelle Lobkowitz, Kathy Crooks, Duncan Turner, Alan Brownoff, and Alicia Snyder, as well as interns Tanvi Mohile, Richard Costa, Healy Shirt, and Alex Ventimilla. This is a phenomenal team, and they dedicate themselves every day to making sure our books are published with quality and care. Care for our authors, for our readers, for our many partners, and for the land here in Treaty 6 territory. My biggest thanks go to them. It's such a privilege to be able to work with authors of Dion Brand's quality, and we're all grateful for the experience. I'll finish by reading the words Dion asked me to pass on to you. Sentiments that I share. How wonderful, unexpected, and special. Congratulations to the press, and my thanks to the judges.
Next, the Speculative Fiction Book of the Year Award, presented by Tom Lohr from Brush Education.
The Speculative Fiction Book of the Year Award highlights a book of fiction with supernatural, fantastical, or futuristic elements published primarily for the trade or bookstore market. The nominees are Laxa Media, Flights of Marigold by Susan Forrest, Renegade Arts Entertainment, Gothic Tales of Haunted Futures, edited by S.M. Biko, New West Press, In Veritas by C.J. Levine. The jury said the breadth of genre and format made it a challenge to compare the titles on the speculative fiction shortlist, but the winner aimed high and succeeded. They praised the work for deftly weaving together the real and fantastical through refined interior design, intriguing urban fantasy elements, and spectacular writing. The winner is New West Press, In Veritas by C.J. Levine. Congratulations! Accepting the award is Matt Bowes, General Manager of New West Press.
So on behalf of the board and staff here at New West, I'd like to say thank you to the Book Publishers Association of Alberta and the jury for giving us this award. It was a bit of a risk for New West to put out In Veritas. It's urban fantasy set in Ottawa, so not exactly our sort of thing that we normally do, but it seemed like it worked out really well. I'd like to especially say thank you to Jenna Butler, the editor of the book, as well as C.J. Levine for writing it, obviously. So thanks again.
And now, the Robert Croach Award for Poetry, presented by Netta Johnson of Stonehouse Publishing.
The Robert Croach Award for Poetry is named in honor of Robert Paul Croach, Order of Canada recipient in 2004. Widely recognized as one of Canada's foremost innovative writers, he articulated a postmodern, experimental vision of Canadian literature in 9 novels and 14 collections of poetry. The nominees are New West Press, Lullabies in the Real World by Meredith Quartermain, University of Calgary Press, The Manhattan Project by Ken Hunt, Frontenac House Limited, Nautilus and Bone by Lisa Richter, New West Press, The Response of Weeds by Bertrand Bickersteth. The jurors said they were immediately blown away by the winning title's intelligent, polished writing, rich with psychological insight, and its impressive design. Filled with breathtaking images and metaphors, the book demonstrates a remarkable conjuring of history and Jewish culture. The winner of the Robert Croach Award for Poetry is Frontenac House's Nautilus and Bone by Lisa Richter. Congratulations! Accepting the award is Neil Petrunio, owner and publisher of Frontenac House.
Thank you very much. I first met Lisa Richter when I picked her up at the airport in Calgary and then took her on a cook's tour of the city before letting her go on her way to the Banff Centre, where she was doing a residency. She's from Toronto. This was her first trip to Calgary, and we hit it off instantly. Lisa is a poet of the first order, and her weaving of personal stories with episodes from Yiddish poet Anna Margolin's life proved to be extraordinarily powerful. Lisa is a poet to watch, and I suspect that she'll be winning many awards in the future. On her behalf, I thank the BPAA and the jurors for this award.
Our next award is one of our new categories this year, the Graphic Novel of the Year Award. I'm a big fan of graphic novels, and one of the reasons I admire them so much is for the way that they tackle difficult subjects. But this year I learned more to make me fully appreciate graphic novels. They're expensive to produce. They're printed on high quality paper. They have all those illustrations, often in color. It's a very specialized and unique form of publishing. And I say, for my 2 cents worth, bravo to the people who decided to award this unique form of publishing. To present the award, we're joined by Brian Scrivener from University of Calgary Press.
This category is open to graphic books of any genre, whether that be fiction, nonfiction, or educational. Jurors evaluated the quality of storytelling, artistic excellence, and promotional activity of each nominee. The nominees are Renegade Arts Entertainment for A Slug Story by Mandy and Hannah Kuyava. Renegade Arts Entertainment for Awkward Pause by Ryan Harvey. And Renegade Arts Entertainment for Gothic Tales of Haunted Futures, edited by S.M. Bako. The jury enjoyed all the titles on the shortlist, but the distinctive book construction and excellent illustrations of the winning title made it stand out. They commented that the narratives were charming throughout the whole book, and several jurors snapped pictures with relatable panels to share with family and friends. The winning publisher is Renegade Arts Entertainment for Awkward Pause by Ryan Harvey. Congratulations! Accepting the award is Alexander Finbow, publisher of Renegade Arts Entertainment.
Hooray! That's fantastic. Thank you to members of the jury, to the BPAA. Congratulations, Ryan Harvey. You have created a fantastic graphic novel collection of your comics. Working with you on the collection and getting the book out there and promoting it has been an honor for all of us here at Renegade. Thank you. We look forward to working with you more in the future. And also I want to say congratulations to the other shortlisted creators who are also part of the Renegade publishing family. Well done.
And now for the Children and Young Adult Book of the Year Award, presented by Kelsey Attard of Freehand Books.
The Children's and Young Adult Book of the Year Award is presented to a book of any genre, as long as it is geared towards children or young adults. The nominees are assessed based on creativity, novelty, and quality. A special thank you goes to Marquis for sponsoring this award. The nominees are Renegade Arts Entertainment for ABC Monstrosity by Shay Prue, Renegade Arts Entertainment for A Slug Story by Mandy and Hannah Kuyava, Taiki Books for Hollow by Rhonda Parrish, and Red Barn Books for Howdy, I'm John Ware by Aisha Clough and Hugh Rookwood. The jury was pleased with the quality of titles entered in the Children's and Young Adult category and commend them for quality of content, writing, and design. The winning title tells an important historical, Alberta-based story that may be unknown to many. Jurors were impressed by the research and consultation that went into this title's creation and the innovative promotion and educational materials that effectively expanded the book's range. As one juror put it, this book is doing exciting things that I want to see more of in Alberta publishing. The winner is Red Barn Books for the title Howdy, I'm John Ware by Aisha Clough and Hugh Rookwood. Congratulations. Accepting the award are Aisha Clough, publisher at Red Barn Books, and Hugh Rookwood, illustrator of Howdy, I'm John Ware.
Well, this book has just been so well received by kids and teachers and the ranching community, and now to be recognized by my industry peers is just so amazing. And I want to give a huge shout out to Hugh Rookwood, the illustrator, because so much of the success of this book is down to his art.
I'd like to thank the association for this award, and thank you for everybody who supported us. 4 years ago, I came with my family and moved to this wonderful province and had the honor and pleasure of working with Aisha and Red Barn Books on the John Ware project. And it's been a momentous occasion in my life. Thank you again for everyone who supported us. Thank you again for this award.
Next, the Scholarly and Academic Book of the Year Award presented by Neil Petrunia from Frontenac House.
The nominees of the Scholarly and Academic Book of the Year Award are published for the post-secondary, postgraduate, or other academic or scholarly markets. Titles are judged on the content, design, and production quality. The nominees are Athabasca University Press, The Art of Communication in a Polarized World by Kyle Conway. University of Alberta Press, Our Whole Gwich'in Way of Life Has Changed, Gwich'in Iu Gwedandai Thak Echak Gunli, Stories from the People of the Land, by Leslie McCartney and Gwich'in Tribal Council. The jurors applauded the publisher and editor for their work on this title, in particular the subtle design and production and the editor's light touch, which allowed the content to remain the primary authentic focus. Overall, the winner perfectly exemplifies how collaborative publishing with Indigenous communities can and should work. The winner is Our Whole Gwich'in Way of Life Has Changed, Gwich'in U Gwedandai Thak Echak Gunli, Stories from the People of the Land by Leslie McCartney and the Gwich'in Tribal Council, published by University of Alberta Press. Congratulations. Accepting the award is Doug Hildebrand, Director and Publisher of University of Alberta Press.
Thank you so much for this incredible prize. Our Whole Gwich'in Way of Life Has Changed, Gwich'in Tho Gwi Tan Tai Tuk Ekyok Only, Stories from the People of the Land, involve the passions and labor of so many people. First, thank you to the 23 Gwich'in elders who contributed their stories for this book. Thank you to Sharon Snowshoe and the Gwich'in Tribal Council for allowing us to be a part of this amazing project. Thanks to co-author Leslie McCartney, who spent years of her life researching and recording these stories, and to Ingrid Critch for her foundational research. My appreciation also goes out to copy editor and proofreader Joanne Muzak and designer Alan Brownoff, and of course, to the whole U Alberta Press team. This book was published with the help of a grant from the Federation for the Humanities and Social Sciences through the Awards to Scholarly Publications program. I would like to thank the Federation and SSHRC for the support they provide to Canadian scholarly publishers. Sharon Snowshoe sent me these words from her home in Fort McPherson, Northwest Territories. The Gwich'in Tribal Council would like to congratulate University of Alberta Press for winning this year's Alberta Book Publishing Award in the Scholarly and Academic Book of the Year category. For their excellent work in publishing Our Whole Gwich'in Way of Life Has Changed, Gwich'in Tho Gwi Tan Tai Tuk Ekyok Only, Stories from the People of the Land. Co-author Leslie McCartney added, I would just like to say congratulations to University of Alberta Press. As one of the authors of the book, I could not be happier for the recognition for the press, for their hard work and dedication to seeing this book published. Thank you, Leslie and Sharon, and congratulations to you too.
Now the Trade Fiction Book of the Year Award, presented by Alexander Finbow of Renegade Arts Entertainment.
The Trade Fiction Book of the Year Award recognizes a book of fiction published primarily for the trade or bookstore market, which demonstrates innovation of content, high quality text, and excellence in production. The nominees are Stonehouse Publishing, Humane by Anna Marie Sewell, New West Press, Goth Girls of Banff by John O'Neill, Freehand Books, Watershed by Doreen Vanderstoep. The jurors paid the winning novel that most cherished of compliments. They could not put it down. They found the book gripping, distinctive, and one that will resonate with many people. The book's promotion played cleverly to the content and the pandemic by giving away toilet paper. The jurors also thought the design and layout evoked the narrative. And the winner is Freehand Books for Watershed by Doreen Vanderstoep. Congratulations! Accepting the award is Kelsey Attard, Managing Editor of Freehand Books.
Thank you so much to the BPAA and the jury for this award. We're in very good company alongside our fellow nominees and friends at New West and Stonehouse. Goth Girls of Banff and Humane are books that we're really proud to be listed alongside. Watershed is the kind of book that gets into your head and sticks there. It is set in 2058, a near future, an eerily plausible version of Alberta with the effects of climate change. The book really offers a clarion call that we need to do something about climate change now, while also showing us a hopefulness about the resilience and kindness of regular people. It's been so wonderful to see the way that the community has embraced this book. It's been on the Alberta and Calgary bestseller lists. It's been read by several local book clubs, and it's been selected for the One Book Athabasca Community Reading Project this year as well. Thank you so much to Doreen Vanderstoep for writing an incredible book and for being so amazing to work with. And thank you to Naomi K. Lewis, who acquired and edited the book for Friesens. I also wanted to recognize a few people who have made Friesens' publishing program possible. Thank you to Joanne McCaig, who shepherded Friesens through many years and many more amazing books. And thanks also to Glenn Rollins, our new owner, for helping us to continue and carry on with our mission of publishing truly exceptional literary books right here in Alberta. Thank you.
Next, another of our new categories this year, the Regional Book of the Year Award. This award came about as a way of recognizing the important role that Alberta book publishers play in sharing stories about Alberta. These are the works of new authors, for example, or stories about special places in Alberta. They're a crucial part of our cultural landscape. And if we don't tell them, who will? We're joined by Kathy Killow from Athabasca University Press to present this award.
This is the inaugural year of the Regional Book of the Year Award, which is presented to a title of any genre that celebrates, exemplifies, or offers a unique perspective on Alberta. The jury assessed the innovation of content, quality of text, excellence of design, and promotional activity of each submission. The nominees are Frontenac House, Borderlands by Mark Viteris, Red Barn Books, Howdy, I'm John Ware by Aisha Clough and Hugh Rookwood, New West Press, The Responsive Weeds by Bertrand Bickersteth. The jurors said the variety of genres present on the shortlist is a great showcase of the true range of regional Alberta publishing. Still, the winning title stood out as a clear publishing feat. A beautifully executed project on every level, this book vividly captures the stark beauty of the Alberta landscape, as well as mankind's attempts through the centuries to make an imprint upon it. The author's ambition to capture so much of this vast region is matched by the publisher's commitment to present his work with the care, respect, and high production values it deserves. The winner is Frontenac House's Borderlands by Mark Viteris. Congratulations. Accepting the award is Neil Petrunia, owner and publisher of Frontenac House.
A few years ago, Mark Viteris came to us with a very interesting project. He'd been traveling along the borderlands between the United States and Canada, from western Alberta to eastern Saskatchewan, taking extraordinarily black and white photographs and collecting some wonderful insights along the way. These journeys became the Borderlands Project, which in turn became this book, Borderlands. I'd like to thank Mark for trusting us with this project, the fruit of many years of often solitary travel in his Westphalia camper. I'd also like to thank the BPA and the jury for awarding us this honor.
Next, the Special Achievement in Publishing Awards. These awards are always special, but even more so this year, so much so that we decided to take a different approach. There is a powerful story behind these awards, and it gets down to 4 people who decided to open up the wider world of reading to people who can't read traditional books. Recently, I sat down with these 4 key players. Here is our conversation.
We promised you something different, and what we have is a panel discussion. So we are joined by our recipients of the award and the person who was there at the beginning. And we are joined by Daniela Levy-Pinto, who is the project coordinator with NELS, and Diana Davidson, who is a founder of NELS, and she is also with the Alberta Public Library Services branch, and Laurie Davidson, who is the executive director of CELA, and Kieran LeBlanc, the executive director of the BPAA. And we'll start with you, Kieran, because you were there at the beginning. And as you present the award, please tell us, take us back to how this whole thing started.
Thanks, Judy. I'm absolutely delighted to be here to present the award to Nels and Sela for the work that they do in the world of accessible publishing and making Canadian content available to all Canadians. So this started back in 2015 at an ACP midwinter meeting in Toronto, and actually with a conversation with your predecessor, Laurie, where we learned about the difficulty and the limits in accessing Canadian content for print disabled Canadians. So we launched a partnership with Sela and CNIB to produce accessible audiobooks. And we are in the 4th iteration of that partnership this year. We also moved into digital accessible publishing through working with NELS, and they have been an incredible support and resource for Canadian publishers, but specifically for Alberta publishers, as we strive to make Alberta content openly accessible to everyone. So I'm thrilled to be here with these wonderful leaders in doing this important work.
Thank you, Karen. Daniela, let's start with you. As you accept the award on behalf of NELS, can you talk about what this award means to you, both professionally and personally as a print disabled reader?
Absolutely. First, I would like to say I am delighted to be here. It is a pleasure to receive this award on behalf of NELS, and the award recognizes the work of my colleagues. It is particularly, I'm very glad to be working in accessible publishing, as I am a person with a print disability. I am totally blind. So I know firsthand what it is like to not be able to read something that you need or want to read because it doesn't exist in an accessible format, and you have to wait for a specialized organization to convert it to an alternate format. So it is very important to think differently and to move things towards born accessible. Technology advances make it possible to create content that is accessible from the start, born accessible, but this not always happens. It only happens if it is designed or created with accessibility in mind. So NELS creates content that is accessible, but it has also been working for the past almost 5 years now in the area of accessible publishing. NELS has produced accessible versions of documents that everyone in Canada should be reading, including all the volumes of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report, and the executive summary and calls for justice for the missing and murdered Indigenous women's reports. As a political scientist, which is my background, I am very proud of this work. It is information is fundamental in a democracy, and it is a human right. So NELS, when we work in accessible publishing, we know that users with lived experience are really the experts on accessibility. And we have a team of people providing expertise, blindness, low vision, or learning disabilities to ensure that content is accessible. And that so that people don't have to wait for an alternate format, and they can access this content as at the moment that it is created. Leadership is instrumental here, and I would like to thank Kieran and the PPA for being committed to making progress in accessible publishing. Users and experts can only do so much in terms of advancing accessibility, but it does take everyone. This is an important area, and it does take all hands on deck. So thank you, Kieran, for being willing to do things differently, and for being open. And thank you so much again.
Wow. Diana, when you listen to Daniela talking, What does that mean to you as a founder and also as a recipient of this award?
Well, thank you. I'm really honored to be here today, and really, Kieran, I think the BPAA should be giving an award to itself, but I know you're not going to do that. So thank you for honoring the work that Nels and Sila do, because it is really, really important. I am always in awe of Daniela's eloquence and her knowledge around all of the technology and also all of the challenges for producing accessible books. So I love hearing her speak about Nels any chance I get. I was lucky enough to be the chair of the Provincial Territorial Public Library Council when we decided that we needed to form what became Nels. And that was back in 2012, 2013. Nels launched as a service across Canada in December 2013 on the National Day for Recognition of People with Disabilities and Accessibility Issues. So we have grown from a small digital repository to a true digital library that has over 60,000 titles that are available to people. And as Daniela said, doing things like making sure the Truth and Reconciliation Report is accessible, the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Executive Summary Report, also ensuring that books that win prizes like the Governor General's Award are available in accessible format the day that they're shortlisted and announced as winners, so that people who need to read differently can be part of those cultural conversations. And I think that's really, really important. I think that Nels and Sila are really wonderful initiatives that were the library community stepping up to serve print disabled patrons. And that's very, very exciting. Before 2010 in Canada, many libraries relied on very highly specialized services. It wasn't necessarily equitable across the country. And I think that the fact that we have Nels and Sila working so hard and pushing boundaries and building new relationships with publishing associations, with publishers directly, is really incredible work that improves how many Alberta published books, how many Canadian published books, how many books full stop can get to the hands of readers who need a different format than traditional print. So it's incredibly exciting. And I feel that we are righting a wrong. And as Daniela said, it would not be possible without the willingness and expertise of organizations like Kieran's and all of the publishers who are members of the BPAA. So thank you.
Lori, as you accept the award on behalf of Sila, and you reflect upon what you've heard here from your co-recipients, what does this award mean to you and to Sila's future?
Yeah, thanks, Judy. And thank you to Kieran and to the BPAA for honoring Sila with this award. So as Diana said and Daniela, Sila, along with our colleagues at NELS, we serve the reading needs of people with print disabilities in Canada. And Sila works through our member public libraries to ensure that our users can access accessible reading in the format of their choice. And that includes formats such as audio, braille, accessible ebooks. And this really opens up the world of reading to people with print disabilities. I know that the conversations between Sila and BPAA go back 5 years or more, predating my time at Sila. And I know from the beginning, Kieran from the BPAA has been a leader and a catalyst for sparking the Born Accessible movement and articulating the importance of accessibility in Canadian publishing. So thank you so much for that, Kieran. I think these early conversations that resulted in partnerships, but not only with Sila and NELS and your work with CNIB, to ensure that accessible content is made from the beginning and from the get-go. I think it's important to note that there's a book famine worldwide for people with print disabilities. It is estimated that fewer than 1 in 10 books are available in accessible formats. So there's so much work to be done in making sure that content is put into accessible formats and made available to those people who need those formats to read. It's just so important, not only for our organizations to continue to produce those accessible formats, but to see publishers step up and to realize the importance of producing those formats or producing works that are accessible from the get-go and to make them what we call born accessible. So I think it is really with leadership like Kieran that this is possible, and that we work in collaboration and want to continue to work in collaboration with the publishers, to help end the book famine and to make more material available to our readers. So thank you, Kieran, for your leadership in that area and for honoring Sila with this award.
Thank you, Lori. Any last thoughts before we wrap up? Who wants the last word?
I just will say as well that I think Kieran's leadership, has been a catalyst for the federal government's funding that they announced in 2019. That was the 22.8 million over 5 years for accessible books within the Canadian independent publishing industry. And this is such an incredibly important initiative and really places Canada as a leader worldwide. And I really think that that Canada is seen as a leader in this space, and it's because of BPA and people like Kieran that have made that possible. So there's a lot of work ahead of us, no doubt, but certainly our continued partnership, collaboration amongst us all is our best path forward.
And if I could, I'd like to just add that I've had the opportunity to work with Kieran closely on the Read Alberta ebook project and collection. That includes the Prairie Indigenous ebook collection. And I'm sure that all the BPAA members who are watching the awards know this, but maybe there are some people who are curious and watching the awards who don't know that all of those books are available through the Alberta Network of Public Libraries, and they're all available in accessible format if someone needs that. So that's pretty incredible too. All of these wonderful Alberta books are available to all readers, and that's something that BPAA should be really, really proud of.
Kieran, I feel you must jump in and say something.
I must. I'm honored to be recognized by all of you and the BPA as well. And I just want to thank you all very much for everything you do. And I look forward to continuing to work with you going forward. So congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. It's such a moving story. So congratulations to all. Well done. And now back to the show.
To me, the story we just heard says everything about this community of Alberta publishers. If we were in person, we'd all be jumping to our feet to give you a standing ovation, and perhaps even to wipe away a tear or two. Congratulations. We now present our design categories: book cover, book design, and book illustration. Joining us to present the award for book cover is Donovan Bergman of Friesens. And we'd like to thank Friesens for sponsoring this award and for their ongoing support of the BPAA.
We are often told not to judge a book by its cover, but for this category, that is precisely what the jury had to do. The Book Cover Design Award is adjudicated only on the book cover or jacket, and jurors assess it based primarily on innovation, quality, and artistic merit. The nominees are Freehand Books, The End of Me, by John Gould. Cover design by Natalie Olson of Kiss Cut Design. New West Press, Horseplay, My Time Undercover on the Granville Strip by Norm Boucher. Cover design by David G. Athabasca University Press, The Virtues of Disillusionment by Stephen Houghton. Cover design by Natalie Olson of Kiss Cut Design. The jury said the winning title captured their attention with its strong color palette and energy of the composition. The jurors enjoyed the treatment of the falling fruit, especially the weight, spacing, and movement of it as it relates to short stories about mortality. In addition, the composition of the full cover, including the spine and back cover, was beautifully and intentionally executed. The winner is Freehand Books, The End of Me by John Gould. Cover design by Natalie Olson, Kiss Cut Design. Congratulations. Accepting the award is Kelsey Attard, managing editor of Freehand Books.
It's really an honor to be recognized for our book covers alongside our colleagues at New West and Athabasca University Press, who also have some incredible cover design. All of my thanks go to Natalie Olson, who designed this book and nearly every other freehand book. Natalie is entirely responsible for Freehand's sense of style. Whenever we have a chance to work together, I'm endlessly grateful for her creativity, her design expertise, and for her unflappability whenever we encounter a time crunch or a tricky situation. Natalie, thank you so much. And thanks also to John Gould for writing such an incredible book and for being so lovely to work with. The End of Me is a collection of 56 very, very short stories about death, all of which are only 3 or 4 pages long. Some of the stories are sad, some are funny, some are strange, and all of them are full of humanity and full of life. In the same way that every word in the book is there deliberately, intentionally, the cover we chose for this book is elegant, sparse, with not a single element out of place. Thank you so much to the BPAA and the jury for this award.
Next up, we have the award for book illustration presented by Glenn Rollins of Brush Education.
The Book Illustration Award is judged on illustrations, including drawings, paintings, photography, and other artwork. The nominees are Renegade Arts Entertainment, ABC Monstrosity, written and illustrated by Shay Prue. Frontenac House, A Brush with Depth, written and illustrated by Rick Sealock. Frontenac House, Plausible Wrong Answers by Tyler Perry, illustrated by Anna Navarro. The jurors said the winning title for the book illustration category is, quote, a tribute to an extraordinary illustrator with roots in Alberta. They enjoyed the rich and engaging illustrations, but were also struck by the inclusion of images of all kinds in a diversity of formats, which gave the design of the book a great sense of energy and pacing. The winner is Frontenac House for the title A Brush with Depth, written and illustrated by Rick Sealock. Congratulations. Accepting the award is Neil Petrunia, owner and publisher of Frontenac House.
Thank you very much. In illustration circles, Rick Sealock is a legend. He's crazy like a fox, wacky like a trickster, and has an extraordinary ability to communicate complicated ideas with his illustrations. This book took years to develop, as it proved to be quite a challenge to showcase Rick Sealock's illustrations and his ideas without having the design and the production get in the way of his thoughts. We're ecstatic to be accepting this award. Thank you once again.
Now we present our final design category, book design. Dr. Leslie Vermeer, professional writer, editor, and reviewer, will present the award.
The Book Design Award is given to the book with the best overall design inside and out. Specifically, books are judged based on their creative approach to the execution of design, their ability to link design elements to the intended audience, and production values that exceed industry standards. The nominees are University of Alberta Press, All the Feels, Tous les Sens, Affect and Writing in Canada, Affect et Écriture au Canada, edited by Marie Carrière, Ursula Mathis-Moser, and Kit Dobson. Book design by Alan Brownoff. Freehand Books, If Sylvie Had 9 Lives, by Leona Tice. Book design by Natalie Olson of Kisscut Design. University of Calgary Press, The Manhattan Project by Ken Hunt. Book design by Melina Cusano. New West Press, The Response of Weeds by Bertrand Bickersteth. Book design by Natalie Olson of Kisscut Design. The jurors thought the winner was particularly remarkable for the wealth and quality of design elements that were intentionally integrated throughout the entire book. The lines flowing through the cover, between text, and separating each section were a perfect example of holistic book design and made this title rise above the rest. The winner is Freehand Books, If Sylvie Had 9 Lives by Leona Tice, designed by Natalie Olson, Kisscut Design. Congratulations! Accepting the award is Kelsey Attard, Managing Editor of Freehand Books.
This year's nominated books are so incredibly beautiful. Congratulations to our colleagues at the U of A Press, the U of C Press, and New West. I can't wait to be together and to see all of your beautiful books in person again. If Sylvia Had 9 Lives presented some interesting design challenges, the book presents us with 9 different versions of Sylvie's life, and as the book progresses, we move in and out of those different lives. The author, Leona Tice, had the idea to include a map before each story in the collection, a kind of a visual "you are here" trail map that would show us where we were in relation to all of Sylvie's other lives. Natalie Olson worked on the cover design and the map design simultaneously because we felt that it was so important that those 2 elements be united and harmonious throughout the book. We really wanted to settle on the right visual metaphor, and for a while we played around with a tree with Sylvie's lives, branching off of a bigger branch. But the metaphor that we ended up selecting was a river with streams diverging from the bigger stream, representing the way that Sylvie's choices take her life in different directions. Natalie did a beautiful job of creating the map that recurs throughout the interior and the cover, which uses elements of that river motif as well. Thanks so much to Leona Tice for writing this amazing book, for being such a treat to work with, especially through these strange pandemic times. And thank you so much to Natalie Olson for her amazing design work, as always.
Our final award is the Lois Hole Award for Editorial Excellence, presented by Matt Bowes of New West Press.
The Lois Hole Award for Editorial Excellence is presented to an Alberta book publisher in recognition of outstanding editorial work on books published during the award year. The award is named in honor of Lois Hole for her dedication to books, libraries, literacy, and her respect for editors. Her devotion to the cultural life of our province remains an inspiration for all Albertans. The jury said that the winner of this year's Lois Hole Award for Editorial Excellence is an admirably executed book spanning 40 years of history. It is clear that the editor thought deeply about this book, saw the narrative's potential, and knew how the author could realize it. Overall, the editor's guidance to heighten the tension surrounding the protagonist's conflicts made this title remarkable, as the thrill and immediacy of the characters' choices became the novel's thumping heartbeat. The winner is Freehand Books, One Matter Woman by Dee Crane, edited by Deborah Willis. Congratulations! Accepting the award is Kelsey Attard, Managing Editor of Freehand Books.
Normally, Freehand's senior editor, Deborah Willis, would be here to accept this award herself. But Debbie is currently at home with her newborn, which she said actually feels quite appropriate because the author of One Matter Woman, Dee Crane, is also a doula. And throughout the editorial process, Debbie and Dee had many conversations about birth and babies. Debbie also says that the birth scene in One Matter Woman is the best that she's ever read, the most intense and sensuous and real. Debbie thanks Dee for being such a delight to work with and for diving into her revisions so wholeheartedly. Debbie also wanted to thank the Freehand Editorial Board for entrusting her to edit this novel. One Matter Woman is a novel about the life and times of Berthe Morisot, who was the sole female member of the group of Parisian artists who became known as the Impressionists. It's a novel about the bonds between sisters and of the demands of devoting oneself to your art. Dee and Debbie fell into such a supportive author-editor relationship that was so wonderful to see. Debbie is an incredible writer and editor with a real gift for helping writers to reach the best version of their work. Any author who has the opportunity to work with Debbie is very fortunate indeed. Thanks so much to Debbie, and of course, thank you so much to the BPAA and the jury for this very meaningful award.
Wow, what a fantastic celebration. Thank you for joining us for this virtual gala. We would also like to thank our funders who provide ongoing support to the Book Publishers Association of Alberta. Department of Canadian Heritage through the Canada Book Fund, Canada Council for the Arts, Government of Alberta through Ministry of Culture and Status of Women and the Ministry of Municipal Affairs, City of Edmonton and the Edmonton Arts Council, City of Calgary and Calgary Arts Development, Access Copyright Foundation. In addition to our funders, we would like to recognize the sponsors who have made this year's awards possible, Friesens, Marquis, and Houghton, Boston. Thank you as well to our jurors who committed a significant amount of time reviewing, critiquing, creating the shortlist, and coming up with the winners this year. Thanks as well to the staff at the BPAA whose countless work behind the scenes, hours and hours, have made this event possible. Thank you to everyone who joined us for this virtual gala, one that we will never forget. On behalf of the BPAA, I wish you all the best until we meet again, hopefully next year in person.